Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our NXT review. And surveying what we got tonight, I have to say, especially from an in-ring standpoint, because I was a big fan of that main event we just got done watching, I think I'm feeling really good about this episode of NXT tonight. There are some things that I have gripes with, some of which we're just outright skipping in our former review anyway, so it's not going to be a problem. But there was, I feel like quite a bit good on this show, and the long-awaited Women's Tag Team Championship matchup, seeing what it could potentially lead to, I don't know. At first I was like, man, really? They're doing that kind of finish? But I'm keeping an open mind, given that it's going to, pour over into next week. So, Ashton, what do you think about tonight's NXT, man?
Yeah, I think I feel very similar to you. I might be a little bit lower on this week's episode than you and Foster. I know I saw him in chat saying that this was a big improvement over last week. It was decent, but there was a pretty decent length streak in the middle of this show that I was just fully in fuck you mode. I hated everything that was going on. Thankfully though, I guess when that ended, we got some more fun, interesting stuff, but definitely gonna have some things to say here in our first segment.
Well, that's what it's there for, partner. Heat of the night, and I know you've got things to say, so would you mind if I just get my one nitpick that I'm really thinking of just out of the way first, and then I'll leave you the table?
I mean, the before we even get into this, just gonna reestablish, fuck LA Knight, his promo tonight was shit, you're not The Rock, fuck off. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, we were gonna skip that in our formal review anyway, so I'm glad you got that out. I just want to point out again, because you said you'd keep an eye on it, and you thought that I made a good point, I just want to revisit. I don't know why they've metaphorically castrated Robert Stone from his personality, but I hate that he's just a normal manager and he really didn't even do anything tonight. He told Ember to back off a few times, but I don't know, that he's lost the charm that he does with it. I don't think he's lost it personally. Somebody either told him, hey, we're not going to do as much with you or keep it restrained or whatever. But, Elia had a match tonight with Ember and it was fine. I honestly thought the match was a bit slow at times. It was kind of a low point in-ring-wise for me. I don't know if Ember had to slow down because of Elia or what, but some of it felt a bit clunky to me. I don't know if you agree with that or not, or maybe I'm just being too harsh. And then Robert Stone, just, again, he feels muted and muffled. He just feels really muffled personality-wise, and I hate it because there was a point where I feel like this guy was a highlight on NXT episodes.
Yeah.
And now he feels like just your milquetoast, generic, let's put a guy in a suit and call him a manager type figure. So that's the only nitpick I really had. I think I have other complaints, but they'll probably more come out in the review. But I want to give you the table since you kind of prefaced it saying you've got a lot that you want to work through in this first segment. So what do you got for us, bud?
To be fair, it's not necessarily that I have complaints about a lot of segments. It's more that what I didn't like, I loathed. You know what I mean?
I feel you. So let's go through it. What didn't you like that really was just like a loathing that you had here?
Well, let's start with the first match. I really hate that Thatcher was the one that ate the pin in this.
Dude, I'm actually glad you brought up something, because is it just me, or does it actually feel like he's gotten, character-wise and kayfabe-wise, like stock-wise, we'll say, and he's gotten worse since teaming with Ciampa instead of better? Because, I feel like he was more over when he was doing, the Thatcher segments.
Considering the fact that the last thing he did before teaming with Ciampa was beat Ciampa, I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, because, I feel like he had gotten himself more over with the Thatch Can school.
Oh, yeah. I missed the hell out of those. Yeah, fuck Ciampa. And that's the other thing, too, is just, fuck this match in general, because, you have Ciampa and Burch in this same match. Fuck both of them. Can they just team together and then, maybe have a tag team match against the Sun and a rocket ship?
Yeah, that's quality booking right there. Yeah, I'm definitely picking up what you're laying down here, because I was even watching this. It's so funny that you start with this, because even watching this match, I'm like, man, I miss when Thatcher actually seemed like a presence and on the cusp of being a North American champion. Now, again, he just feels like another guy that yeah, he's tough. And just to kind of intermingle my other complaint that I didn't really want to air out in this segment, I really don't care that they're trying to revamp Imperium. Do you? Like, just keeping it in
the
this, like,
one
pocket.
big thing that excites me is the potential that we're going to replace Eichner and Bartel with Thatcher and Bartel. I think that's
Yeah.
a significant upgrade, and that might actually get me interested in the tag team feud between them and Lorcan and Birch again.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. But do continue, sir.
Yes. Sorry. So that was the first one. The other one, again, kind of a similar complaint, actually, because I'm not happy that Thatcher ate a pin, and I'm not happy that Cameron Grimes cannot get a fucking win without help to save his life.
I know I made a commitment to, like, not talk about Cameron Grimes much, but since this is a Heat of the Night segment, I will air another complaint. I don't say this in a braggadocious way, but I do remember kind of a throwaway line on one episode. Like, oh, hey, Ashton, do you think they're going to make him like a redneck $1 million man? And, like, they've made a lot of $1 million man references, more than I'm comfortable with. Like, I was kind of hoping he'd do his own thing. I think they want their almost like NXT version of that gimmick in Cameron Grimes, which I guess isn't the worst thing. I was just hoping for something a bit more inspired. But again, I did want to kind of bring that original insight back around again, because it seems like it's more in our face. Yeah. He even said, like, everybody's got a price, so it's like, come on, dude, really?
I mean, he literally was inspired by that $1 Million Man video with the kid bouncing the basketball like a week or two ago. So yeah, this is very on the nose, like trying to be like, hey, Cameron Grimes has a lot of money now, so he's going to try and be like another $1 Million Man, and he's just going to fail miserably at it.
Yeah, and then just to circle back to your original complaint, because I don't want to take over the thread or whatever, it really is just more of a common trope that some heels just need help to get anything done when Cameron is like a capable in-ring performer. But then again, it really, you know what the sad thing is though, bro? If we're honest about his booking, even before he had to take that 6 weeks off for injury or whatever, and then he kind of found this new gimmick, his booking was shit, so this actually perfectly tracks.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though, dude. When was the last time Cameron Grimes won a match where he did not have help that he didn't ask for? He keeps only winning matches when someone just randomly decides to interfere on his behalf for no fucking reason.
And, dude, sometimes even then he still loses. Because remember when Thatcher and Ciampa were still feuding, Thatcher interfered in a Ciampa-Grimes matchup, and Grimes still lost.
Yeah.
So, like...
But what I'm saying, though, is that he doesn't win on his own ever. And when he does, it's because he has help that he didn't even ask for.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a real problem, dude.
Yeah. It's fucking annoying, honestly. And, like, I even said this in the Discord. This was something that I was so annoyed with in the moment that I actually even addressed it to our fans in the Discord. So they got, like, a little bit of an early preview of my Heat of the Night tonight.
Yeah, man. I don't blame you, man. It is definitely something worth highlighting here, because it's just been a long-standing problem with Grimes. And I think more generally, it's just been a problem with how certain heels are booked in pro wrestling, and it just has not gone away.
Yeah.
Any other heats of the night or nitpicks?
Well, I wouldn't call this a heat of the night, and I don't even know if I would call this a nitpick. It's more of a confusion on my part that could evolve into one or the other. At what point did Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez become faces?
I understand that. I really was kind of confused myself that they were positioned as the baby faces, but I guess for me, and I'm not saying this makes it okay, right? But I guess for me, they're not baby faces so much as an individual level. They're baby faces because they're repelling an outside force. This really does feel like NXT versus WWE, quote unquote. Right. Even though it's all WWE, but you get what I'm trying to say.
No, I totally, yeah. I mean, it feels like NXT versus at least Raw, if not the main roster, quote unquote.
Exactly. So it's a very paper thin facedom for Dakota and Raquel, because it has nothing to do with them inherently as people. It's just, we're flying the NXT flag, therefore cheer for it. It honestly is very similar to Adam Cole and McAfee and that whole beef. Really similar. You got this outsider coming in, and then I'm only a babyface in lieu of the fact that, I'm protecting the gates from this outsider, so to speak.
I think Mark said it pretty well. They became faces when they started going up against bigger heels, and Shayna and Nia are bigger heels, and like we'll talk more about that match later. But I agree, Shayna, especially Nia, but also Shayna, are genuinely more easy to hate than Raquel and Dakota.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that about covers me, though. There are other things that I would complain about, but I don't want to give certain things the light of day. Plus, I don't want to hurt Foster's feelings by complaining about Ever Rise's existence, so we can just move on.
Oh, well, we'll be getting to that. Now let us get into our NXT review. Open up with Lorcan and Burge versus Ciampa and Thatcher. We already touched on this in the first segment. Lorcan and Burge do win with the elevated DDT double team on Thatcher after they were distracted by the appearance of Imperium. So Thatcher and Ciampa not in the NXT tag title picture. Man, Ciampa, being a boomer really hasn't paid off for you. Next, we get Roderick Strong and Finn Balor. You know, I'm going to be incredibly honest about Roderick Strong. Still a very, very lukewarm promo. I do think he can have his moments, but they're very rare. Kind of an awkward here, kind of thing. I think his mic delivery is always going to be a bit awkward. Balor, though, I mean, dude, Balor, I feel like, is untouchable right now.
Dude,
I feel
fuck
like
Prince. This guy's the goddamn king.
Yeah, because, dude, here's the thing. He either has mega hot promos where he has those great lines like, oh, they stopped manufacturing the cloth that I'm cut from, which still, like, gives me goosebumps thinking about. Or, like, even if it's not, oh, I did something quotable here or whatever, just his sheer presence and his believability. You know, they always used to talk about, like, in NWA and those places, when Harley Race would speak, you'd believe it and this and that because he was a legit tough guy and this and that. Balor, to me, I would say in a way that reflects more positive masculinity from where I'm sitting, he does have that presence and that believability. Like, I would not want to fuck with Finn Balor. Like, he says what he's going to do, and I'm like, yeah, that tracks. I can't even turn up and make fun of him and be like, oh, yeah, sure, and then root for this. No, I'm like, no, you're done. You're done. He's looking at you. You're done. I actually worry for Adam Cole. This dude does not fuck around. And he even knows. I love how he all but emasculates Roderick here because he's like, listen, bruh, you're pleased for friendship. That ain't going to get him out here. Cole, you, me, next week for the title. I love that the title is pretty much his symbolic dick, and he's swinging it around, and he's like, yeah, we all know you want this. Next week, let's do it. And as far as nitpicks
He's
go...
just like, I know whose ass I want to beat, and I know I have something that guy wants, so I'm going to challenge him.
It's so good. And when we're speaking about complaints and just nitpicks, I'm sorry... Because, again, I really don't want to go after Roderick the person. He seems like a fucking sweetheart, I bet. Like, real family man, stuff like that. How do you square, like, oh, Cole hitting me in the nuts and ripping off my dog tags and super kicking me in, and I say this with emphasis, the face. How do you square that with, well, Phineas, this all happened when you showed up. Like, what? What? That makes no sense to me, Roderick. Please, for the love of God, go sit in somebody's trunk and think about this. I mean, after the initial panic attack. Like, how do you square this? How do you come to that
When you have that kind of anxiety, do the panic attacks ever really stop?
I mean, speaking from experience, probably not. They just get a little better each time. But, like, reassess your life, bro. Holy shit. Like, I don't understand. I really want to know. Like, I know, I'm slowly turning up. I'm aware. But I really want to know how you did the math on this. Mark, you're in the chat. How did Roderick do the math on this? Because that was the most confusing line in the promo. Finn, this all started when you showed up. No, I'm pretty sure, Roderick, this all started when these guys legitimately hurt each other and then everybody fetishized it as match of the year. That's when I'm pretty sure that this shit started, okay? Not Finn personally, but all the fuck shit surrounding him and Kyle O'Reilly and all this bullshit.
Well, is there like a psychological disorder named after that where like we hurt each other in public and everyone loved it, so now we have to get along?
If there isn't, dude, there honestly fucking should be. Because when you put it that way, fuck. So that was confusing.
It's like shared trauma, but the trauma was caused by each other. What?
I mean, Javaris pretty much said it for me, just very, very blatantly and straightforwardly. But then Finn just snipes his fucking ass and says, Roddy, you'll never be a leader. You'll always be a follower. And it's just like, I am living for this because it's like, oh my God, finally someone says it. And he says, and as long as you don't have that killer instinct, you'll never, and I thought he was going to say you'll never be NXT champion and, kind of flaunt the gold. Roderick, though, initiates a brawl with Balor, and they go back and forth until the referee split them up. We got an answer from Mark here. Roddy tried to divide by 0. You never divide by 0. See, that's where he went wrong. So, do you have anything to add about the greatness that is Finn Balor and the utter confusion? Like, why is Roderick strong?
I wish I knew the answer to that last question, but I just feel like Roddy is very emotionally stunted. He probably is feeling a lot right now, and he doesn't really know what to do with it, so he's just lashing out at whoever's around, and in this case, it just happened to be Finn.
You know what, bud? That was a very emotionally mature and thoughtful response. We're going to move on from that. All right.
Yeah.
So, speaking of, it's funny that you gave such an emotionally mature and thoughtful response because we're going to go where that should happen, the way in therapy.
This was the best shit of the show, honestly.
Dude, they keep killing it, man. They're like, especially Gargano. And I actually like that Candice is the more reserved one. Dude, her faces to Indy every time she made like an offhanded comment about Dexter. Live for it. But you seem really giddy. So what did you love most about this, man? I want you to give you the ball.
I mean, low-key Indy was pretty much the highlight early on, but the big reveal at the end was also fucking hilarious.
Dude, that big reveal at the end. I'm going to be honest. I always try and be honest with you guys here at TWitWoW. They worked me. They honestly worked me. Like, I thought the therapist, because I thought the bookend of this was going to be the therapist being like, okay, so I talked to Austin privately, and my analysis is that nothing bad really went on. And Johnny would just freak out, right, that she didn't take his side. Nope, I got worked. I got worked big time. And I love it. I love it. I love it. So you really loved Indy being weird. I loved it too. I loved Candice's faces to Indy being weird.
Yes.
Well, she likes it when Dexter Lumis is weird. Did you see Beth Phoenix's ship name that she gave them on Twitter that Candice freaked out about?
No, what is it?
She's like, Indy Hartwell plus Dexter Lumis equals Index. And Candice was like, don't you encourage this.
Okay, I love it. Oh my God.
I knew you would. That's why I had the courage.
I really hope Dexter is receptive to Indy coming on to him, because she's going to at some point. I
mean, honestly, the worst part about this is still Austin Theory, mainly because he exists. But, I mean
the worst part of the 3 segments that we got of this tonight was Austin Theory trying to act.
Honestly, dude, because Indy was killing me with just how, into Dexter she is, I was kind of wishing that would be the primary therapy issue. Like, where the hell does this attraction come from? Like, where does it stem from? And they exhaust that, and you just take Austin out of the picture, maybe with a quip here and there, like he's good for. But yeah, these segments, we'll just talk about them all in a bundle. I mean, it starts with Johnny getting kicked out because he's... I'm sorry, I just remembered one of my favorite lines. You will not therapy on me.
Yes! We're here for you to therapy on him. That was so good. And then, of course, they bring up that Theory was locked in a basement, and Indy was just like, I wouldn't mind being locked in a basement with the right guy.
Oh, yeah, that Candice is just like, later. We will deal with you later.
Candice has such just like fucking Beth Sanchez energy here.
Yeah, like, honestly, the idea of the way is probably one of the first stables that really embraces the idea of being a family that just happens to be dysfunctional.
I mean, just ask Austin Theory. He ran out of the room crying daddy and then went to Johnny Gargano's arms.
We're going to Chuck E. Cheese, bud. Jesus Christ. We've seen factions that are brotherhoods. We've seen factions that are like mentorships, which is, how I regard at least early evolution. And never a faction that's like, oh yeah, we're a family. And like, it's everything I never knew I wanted. Like, wow. The way really has been, because when did they even form? I feel like they formed in the late part of 2020.
Yeah.
But they really have been like kind of a revelation just in terms of my tastes and like what I'm looking for. Because yeah, they really scratched an itch I never even knew I had. And yeah, as you said, therapist got paid off because she's like, oh, I couldn't get
dude, I guess they kind of formed at Halloween Havoc because that was when the Scream masks first started showing up, and that was where Austin and Indy showed up.
Yeah. Javaris, I know, dude. I know, because I know there was a time that I was genuinely annoyed in the most negative way by Johnny Gargano, and he has done a complete 180 with me. Yeah. It is fucking wild that I can't get enough of this dude now. Yeah. Like, holy shit. It really amazing. Like, on it, because of how we kind of play with our awards and just the meaning of those awards, Johnny Gargano might actually be the strongest candidate I have right now for most improved. Just in terms of, like, I went from hating you to you're one of the highlights of NXT for me now on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
That's astounding.
That's a really good point. You should put that down, dude.
I should. But yeah, I mean, these were all great segments. They went a great route, dude, because I know one worry you had, like, oh, please, dear God, don't get Dr. Shelby. I love the therapist they got for this. And you know, again,
dude, there were people on Reddit that were like, oh man, I can't wait for her to pull her face off and reveal that she was actually Dexter Lumis all along.
Dude, you know what? I'm so glad you mentioned something to that effect, because I will say something that I was expecting, just because the camera was still panned on the clinic, like before we went back to like live in-ring action. I thought that it was going to do like a fast forward, so to speak, after she got paid off. And she was going to be counting her money, and there was going to be Dexter Lumis, and she was going to let us scream out, and we don't even know like what happened. I thought Dexter Lumis was going to confront the shit she said about him.
Oh God,
to Austin. Wow. That would have been amazing. Because like, I know you don't watch Ozark. I don't even know if anybody in our chat watches Ozark, but it reminded me of scenes from that show, because the husband and the wife in that show, they're each paying off the therapist, and whoever pays her off more that week, that's whose side she takes. And at one point, she buys a car that looks like a goddamn, like, it looks like it could transform into a Transformer, right? Really sleek, high end. And Marty, the protagonist in Ozark, or at least one of them, he's like, listen, you can't be doing that. You know, that was like embezzled money. You know they're going to be asking about that. Well, she doesn't listen. She's like, oh, it's a fun thing. And then the people that he works for, they do ask about it, actually. They crash one of her sessions, and they're like, oh, you know, we need you to keep this quiet, because obviously that's drug money, you know, it's dirty money. And the therapist thinks that she can milk them. And she's like, oh, well, maybe I could keep quiet for the right rate. And then the woman just looks at her like, so you know she's doing the mental calculus, like, yeah, bitch gotta go. And then next scene, she's dead. I really thought it would have been like a kind of a similar vibe. Dexter Lumis comes in. We don't really see what happens. But yeah, so I was kind of disappointed.
We know what happens in the back of our minds.
Exactly. So yeah, I wish we could have gotten a Dexter Lumis sighting, but you know, I think this is fantastic for what it was, and I'm curious how this story will develop further now. Do you have any other comments you want to make about these three segments?
I honestly want to go back and rewatch them, because I know Indy got in a couple of hilarious quips that I might not remember right now. So I think she had there about being willing to be friends with benefits or something like that.
Oh, yes, I'd be his friend with benefits.
Yeah.
Oh, my God!
Yeah, someone needs to lock Indy Hartwell, or Indy Wrestling Hartwell Lumis, since that's what she wrote on her notebook, in horny jail and throw away the key.
You know, Ashton, I actually do have one more question for you before we move on from this segment. It's more of a meta question.
Okay.
How do you feel about NXT? Because this is the second week in a row they've done this, where they're telling, like, these, I don't want to say long-running, because it's self-contained within the episode, so I'll say self-contained stories via, not necessarily cinematics, but like vignettes or whatever, because they did it last week with the basketball, you know, Ken Grimes trick somebody and be $1 Million Man. Now they did it this week.
Dude, I'll just say it straight up. I'm a huge fan of this style of storytelling in pro wrestling shows. I feel like they used to do shit like this on Raw all the time, and I've been missing stuff like this. I love this style of wrestling storytelling.
Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on that, because again, I am noticing a pattern. It's going like 2 weeks in a row now. And I have to say, I like it. And I noticed so far that they've done it with more comedy-based heels, so to speak. I wonder if they'll ever do it with baby faces or whatever, but I hope it's something they keep doing, because, you know, it gets them screen time, it gets them out of the ring, and, you know, gives them a wider berth, you know, tell stories elsewhere, which I know is still complicated, because even though the pandemic's getting better with vaccinations, we're still kind of in a tentative period. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm a big fan of this, and I hope they keep doing this. So I just wanted your thoughts on that very quickly. After that, William Regal confronts Cameron Grimes. He's trying to buy like the ability to rename the Capitol Wrestling Center, and this just becomes, you're going to face
Cameron Grimes Auditorium.
9 out of 10, bud. And Regal says, I'll take care of the fine. It's you I'm upset with. Tonight you're facing Bronson Reed.
No. You're facing the colossal Bronson Reed.
Fair enough.
You can't just say Bronson Reed anymore. You have to get his nickname in there now.
Because that really ups the charisma. So after that, we get Elia versus Ember Moon. I already kind of touched on this enough. Ember Moon gets a win with the Eclipse. I guess also another.
I'm really glad that Ember won this in spite of interference, because there was interference. It just didn't matter. And then Shotzi ended up being able to take out both Robert Stone and Jessica Mayo with a cross body. And I thought that was cool that we got Shotzi involved and Ember got the win despite interference. It's really cool to me.
I do agree with you 100% on that. I will say, fuck WWE for doing this to me yet again. And what I mean by this is making me like a choice that I don't even really like, but I only like it relative to the alternative being worse. I don't like Ember and Shotzi being a team, but the alternative is they're not on TV at all. And obviously that's worse. I feel like these women should be on the cusp of the NXT Women's Championship. They should be doing amazing fucking programs with EO. And I have just lost complete faith in that happening for the moment. So that's
Listen,
great.
John, we can't have Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart in the title picture right now. We need to save room for white mediocrity.
I'm sighing because you're right and because it hurts. Okay, so after that, because, we don't have any quotable Robert Stone things to talk about, shame on you, NXT. Thatcher and Ciampa again. Thatcher's like, they keep throwing my past in, my face, and referring to Imperium and how it used to be with them. And Ciampa cuts him off, almost like this weird, aggressive, possessive energy. But that is just that, the past.
Yeah.
Right?
He's definitely leaving you, Tommaso.
Yeah, as he should. Yeah. It's called an improvement. Look it up. Yeah.
No, it's hard for a boomer to understand this, but humans are not property.
Yeah. Go back to feuding with the Clouds on the NXT pre-show. Anyway.
Wow. I thought you were just going to say go back to feudalism, and I was about to say, yeah, he probably would.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're not even wrong. We preview Io Shirai versus Toni Storm. Io, much like Finn, is just very believable as fucking champion because she's Io Shirai.
Yeah, I love NXT's really got their two main singles champions right now. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Agree with you 1,000%. I got to give Io credit, too. I think she put over Toni in a major way. She said straight up, I respect her as an athlete. I don't like her as a person. What I liked about what Io said, she acknowledges that Toni is kind of a blockade to her being one of the greatest champions in NXT history. And that's a lot of credit to give somebody. Like, hey, if I don't go through you, I fall short of my goal. But if I do go through you, then I really feel like I can make it. I can etch my name as one of the greatest champions in NXT history. So really like that. Toni said some stuff too, pretty much how it's going to be her time. Toni's time. Tam said it better, and she doesn't even have your name. So yeah, the match next week should be solid. NXT really, I like that they're kind of flexing lately with these TV cards. Because we've got this, and we've got Finn versus Adam Cole next week.
Yeah, we do. Do you really think that Adam has a chance to next week? Because I don't. I think Finn's got to have retention, and then it's going to be Cross afterwards.
You're probably right.
By the way, I've heard that there's going to be a takeover on the Thursday after WrestleMania, or on the Thursday before WrestleMania.
Thursday before WrestleMania. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to play that by ear, man, because we know NXT is going to get some shakeups, production-wise and stuff like that, more internally, moving to Tuesdays, I think, beginning in April, right? So that's the
it's supposed the first Tuesday episode is actually supposed to be, I want to say the first Tuesday after WrestleMania, actually.
Okay, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Oddly enough.
But yeah, after that, we get the women's tag title matchup. I know we talked about this a bit in the first segment. If you had just had any other remarks you wanted to make, I'm open to hearing them, man. I want to give you the mic on this.
Just regarding the women's tag title match?
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, I'm a little thrown off by the fact that Dakota Kai and Raquel are being treated as such baby faces to the point that they actually got screwed here. But if I can like compartmentalize and just set aside that bewilderment and just accept that they are baby faces and that they got screwed here, it's exciting that the WWE, you know, more generally is doing a story that will probably end up incorporating Dakota and Raquel into a main roster show, whether that be Fastlane or more likely, or actually I would say Fastlane is more likely, but also maybe possibility out on a branch, WrestleMania. We'll see.
Yeah, it's very interesting developments from this story. I mean, Dakota is freaking great. And, you know, she's a real ring general, knows how to carry herself in there, knows how to put together a match really well. Her selling's on point. So her being a baby, which is weird too, because you know what I was actually thinking about while this match was happening and knowing that they're being treated by baby faces? I don't know when Tegan Nox is coming back, but that's going to be hella awkward because let's remember in kayfabe, it was Dakota that took Tegan out this time around. So I don't know how they're going to square all that. That's NXT's business. I didn't think the match was bad. I only forgave the fuck finish because apparently now William Regal has an announcement that will shake the foundation. Or I think he said change the foundation of NXT.
Oh, I'm just expecting that to be the Tuesdays thing.
Do you really think that squares, though, with everything that happened in the ring here? That doesn't really seem to be fucking congruent with what like happened in the ring. I don't really know how that tracks. I mean, it could be.
I don't really think that it will. Wait, why does it have to relate?
Well, because, like, you know, he had that argument with Adam Pearce, and he's like, oh, well, you know, now I've got an announcement take. I don't understand how switching nights has to do with the women's tag titles.
Okay, I thought it was just unrelated. I didn't even make the connection between him saying that and the loud, angry conversation he had with Pearce. I guess maybe it will just be something as simple as Dakota and Raquel challenging for the tag titles on Fastlane. Yeah.
I mean, again, I think that's more in the ballpark. It's just when you build something as shaking the foundation of NXT, you know, I'm expecting it to be like, you know, whatever, because NXT's been a long-standing thing. But maybe that will be it, you know, NXT representing on a main roster pay-per-view. I will give commentary credit. They actually pointed out, and I never really considered this in the lead-up to the matchup, that no NXT team has ever won the women's tag titles. So they really made like a big deal about that. I thought that was a nice selling point. And I don't know. Oh, Candice took out Tegan? Well, I guess I was wrong about that. Okay, well, then I guess there's no problem. But yeah, I'm curious where they'll go next with this. I don't know how long Dakota and Raquel can last as babyfaces, but you know what? Honestly, if it means them winning the titles, great. Because if they're winning the titles, Raquel's busy with that, which means she can't go after Io, which means my fears for being the next NXT Women's Champion go down considerably, a point that we've made before on this podcast. So let's make it happen. After this, what did we get after this? Well, it was another therapy segment. We already talked about all the segments as a bundle. Skipping the next thing, because it's fucking LA Knight. Fuck LA Knight. Then we get a Swerve promo.
Ooh, this was good.
You talk about first, I know Swerve's your boy. I mean, I know we both love him, but I know you're really big on Swerve. So what do you think about this?
I don't know if I love the whole, like, you don't want to go to war with someone that doesn't care as much as you or cares less than you or so whatever, and then at the end saying, I just don't care. Like, that whole thing is like, what? I feel like you probably do care, and you probably should care, and caring shouldn't be really a bad thing. But just him being confident and talking his shit and talking about how I'm different. It's just like, yeah, I love the vibe of this. I think I like the vibe of it more than I liked the actual like words that he said for the most part.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like this had good energy. I get what you're saying. I feel like in a way he was trying to go for the same energy of like what Eddie once said to Ray in the lead up to their steel cage match. Like, how do you beat a man that's already lost everything? You know, how do you beat somebody that has nothing to lose? But I don't know if it quite hit the mark. But I still love Swerve, though. I love the setting of this promo, all that stuff. Just good shit. So after that, skipping this, because it was the big LA Knight ring promo. Fuck that promo. Cameron Grimes versus Bronson Reed. We already kind of touched on this in the opening segment. Then we get Scarlett and Cross in a brief thing. Don't fucking care. Final therapy segment of the way. And then LDF. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh.
I love me some Breezango. I want to get that out of the way before.
Dude, I'm gonna be real with you. I genuinely didn't realize that was Fandango that got assaulted and thrown aside that didn't have the astronaut helmet on. I didn't recognize him. He looks so different without facial hair.
He does, man. He does. I just want to talk a little bit about this because this is my turn-up segment of the night. This was so fucking sweet. I love Breezango, and honestly, that astronaut entrance would have been fucking dope. And I feel like we kind of got robbed, which is why LDF are heels. But, man, Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza, they fucking flexed. I love that they started the assault, too, because Cross really bitched them out last week, and fuck Karrion Cross. But then, Everrise. I'm not even going to joke about their names because I'm saving all my turn-up energy for that fucking man. That prime piece of fucking beef. Fucking Santos. Escobar. Oh my God, I just came twice. Okay, so Everrise feel like they've evaded an assault. We're smart. Oh, we get it. We know. Hey, next time. And they're just so loud.
The one
so
that looks like Chuck Taylor, I think, even said, "We weren't born yesterday."
I'm like, yeah, it's like, it's discount Chuck Taylor and discount Matt Jackson. Fuck them both. And then Escobar, like an angel answering my fucking prayers. He takes them out. And he takes discount Chuck Taylor and he tenderizes face by repeatedly slamming the head into the steel steps. And my biggest complaint about the whole thing was that he stopped.
Yeah.
He stopped when he should have kept going.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Javaris. I don't know if you got your wealth in on this, but like if you did, thank you, because first of all, and I circle back to point one, and I did warn you that I was going to take this segment, so I apologize, but my God, what a man. Holy shit. I mean, this is what, but you know what though, dude, bringing it down just a notch to make a serious point. This is why you and I viscerally loathe all the Cross bullshit, because had he looked more capable, like on his own, hell, had he even gotten the upset fucking win, you know, like, I don't know, giving Cross maybe a little bit of struggle, maybe asking the question, oh, is he a bit rusty since that injury? Maybe have him have a little bit of a journey before going back to the championship. This would have meant even more because it's like, this was some Tony Montana shit. Like, he really went in and he wrecked shop and he ran shit. And this is the fucking Escobar that I want, because sooner or later, he's dropping that cruiserweight title, and you need to talk about this man as a future NXT champion. And if you're not having the discussion, you're wasting your speech, and language is wasted on you. Period. This motherfucker, even after what Cross put him through, he comes on my screen, I pay attention, he's believable, he dresses the part, he acts the part, if I could speak, I'm so excited. And his promo here, really brief, he says to us, hey, don't mistake what happened last week, don't mistake that moment for weakness. You cross me, you cross us, this is what happens. So he reestablishes dominance. He, you know, in business terms, right, he regains his heat, or tries to. And, you know, I wish they never put Cross in his path, because this man deserves a lot better than that fucking shit. But my God, somebody needs to give me a gif of him just slamming that fucking face into those steel steps, because, whew, daddy, Jesus Christ, you want to talk about Indy Hartwell going after Dexter Lumis? I am fanning myself right now, and it's not helping. This was amazing. Do you have anything you'd like to contribute to this steamy discourse?
Damn, I'd tell you to get a cold shower, but you might fall asleep in it.
I know, right? I know. That's my thing now. That's part of the gimmick now. But no, do you have any thoughts in all seriousness about this?
No, I can't add anything to your shit, man. Come on.
All right, well, Santos is amazing. I don't know how LDF, again, kind of bringing it down, I don't know what the future is of the Cruiserweight Championship, you know, who's in line for a shot, especially because Kurt Stallion did get his title opportunity. So I don't know who they're going to try and build up. I still worry that fucking Jordan Devlin's going to win their showdown, if there is a showdown. That's the appropriate reaction.
Every time anyone NXT UK related gets brought up, that's my just immediate instinct, that sound.
That is 1,000% appropriate. We know he has to lose the title eventually. Fuck Jordan Devlin. I am getting way ahead of that shit. And hopefully when he does, he moves up to the heavyweight division. I still want Escobar versus Balor. Give me my fucking match of the year contender, please.
Too bad Cross is going to beat Balor for the title before we get the chance to see that.
God, I really hate that I've turned against bald people so viscerally. Zach Gibson is the only thing standing for me, just completely turning on them, just wholesale. But yeah, fuck Karrion Kross too.
What about Oni? Is Oni a bad guy too?
Oh God, no. He just associates with bad people, and like, I don't know.
I mean, let's be real. If he's associating with them, it's probably safe to assume that he doesn't completely hate everything that they stand for.
No, my being. It cringed so tight thinking about it. Oh, God. All right. Well, time to unpucker the anus, because at least we have something good to talk about here, because Regal, the whole announcement segment comes after this, and then we get our main event, Balor versus Roderick Strong. Now, I feel like I'm a part of a bureaucracy, and I'm giving a performance review, and I've said something bad. I feel like I said something good about Roderick earlier, and something bad again, and now we end with something good, because I will tell you, I missed watching Roderick Strong work in the ring. I was a big fan of this main event, but before I get ahead of myself, I just had a huge soapbox session slobbering all over Escobar. What did you think about this main event, man?
Well, I did enjoy it. It was fun. It was, like you said, it was nice to see Roderick Strong wrestling again. Not that we've been like overly deprived of that this year or anything like that. I just feel like it's been a minute since we've gotten to him in a singles match, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really, to me, this main event match was good, but it was like nothing to write home about. It was just good, and it was there.
I was really engaged in it, honestly. I thought it was great back and forth. I think the only thing that really took me out of it, truthfully, was just the idea that I knew Strong wasn't winning. Like, because I feel like it would have been an intriguing possibility if you had Strong win, and then you did kind of a Cole, because I still wonder if they're going to do a Cole, Strong, Balor, O'Reilly kind of fatal four-way thing, but with Strong already being defeated, he feels like kind of an outsider here.
Basically, it's an undisputed era civil war, but Bobby Fish is irrelevant, so get on in here, Finsky.
Yeah! And then Finn's like, well, I know it, and none of that is untrue, so okay, I guess.
And Bobby's just in the corner like, you know what, yeah, they're right.
I will say my favorite spot in this match by far, and there were some great sequences here, to give Roderick praise for one, and then to give them both praise for another one, because it was pretty well coordinated. I love the angle slam into the double arm underhook powerbomb sequence that Roderick did. And then
I'm a sucker for Roderick's alternating running forearm spot that he does.
That's great as well. Energizer Bunny of pro wrestling. Got that name recertified tonight.
He had a really sick gut buster, double knee gut buster in this too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, dude. My favorite spot in this was the, it seemed like he was going for another gut buster, and then Finn pivoted, and he got almost like a coup de grace.
Yeah.
And that was, I would have almost preferred that. Like, he hits that, and he still goes for 1916, and he hits it, and that would have been the finish. Because that, like, blew my... I'm like, wow, that was really well done. And Roderick sold it like a champ. Yeah. So, I thought this was a solid main event. For TV, I thought this was good shit. After the match, Finn, is posing. Again, looking legit as fuck with that title. Should have picked him, Edge. You really should have picked him. I feel like it would have been great stuff, but you blew it, so it's okay.
You might have actually stood a chance against him, Edge. You really fucked up, dog.
I know. You talk about that grit. Stop flexing, homie. Like, start making smart decisions.
Yeah. Work smarter, not harder. Didn't you used to be smart?
Yeah, he used to be, absolutely. And then Adam Cole appears on the stage. I really thought he was going to attack Balor again, but I actually liked...
He just does the thumb point to himself.
I mean, when you're Adam Cole, what else would you point to? I mean, finally, I'm back on the same page with Cole. After that really awkward promo last week, I'm like, pointing at yourself. Yeah, with that jawline, I would too. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
My God. I love how it's something as simple as that to get you back on track.
Bro, I'm a basic bitch, all right? I own it unequivocally.
I know there was a point in time that I was like, oh, no, don't talk about yourself like that, but no, you're right. You really are.
Yeah, see, it's so much easier when you support it. But Cole, just looking at Finn like, that title's coming home to me. Finn's
Daddy,
like,
coming home to daddy.
Yeah. Pat McAfee's like, what the fuck? I told you it was terrible. And Finn's just like, bet, finger gun, bang.
I love that. Finn's always just straight up cool, man. Finn's so much cooler than Adam. Adam's awesome, but Finn's so fucking cool.
I feel like when we finally do that mini golfing with Cole, like, you just have that energy like, man, you're great, Adam, but that Finn guy is so cool. And Cole's just like dealing with the complex. It's okay, Adam. Remember, your worth isn't decided what other people think about you. It's not decided by, what the fuck do you mean cooler than me? I'm the coolest.
Super kick.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, if he can even reach my chin. I am like 6'6". He's a little small guy.
Oh, wow. Okay, you know what? We're moving on. I
did the McAfee thing.
As a certified short king, wow. Just wow. Really putting
I will say, Adam would be a perfect medium to my big and your little. Like, we would be like fucking Celtic bars, just lined up, small, medium, big.
I feel like you and Adam Cole are the new Ryback. So I'm the big guy. Why aren't I the big guy? Because you're the medium guy. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Curtis Axel might have been the medium guy, but he's still taller than Adam Cole.
We're moving on. Next segment, high spots and low shots. I'm going to say my low shot is Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez because they got screwed out of the NXT Women's Tag Titles. Legitimately, the story was Dakota tagged out. Referee acknowledged it.
Does it really count as a low shot when they're almost definitely getting another shot at him? And they didn't have the match won by any means, you know? They still could lose or could have lost.
I mean, that is a fair point, Ashton, but I would retort with the following. Given that we try and make our low shots and high spots self-contained to a particular episode,
True.
A rematch wasn't established on this episode, so I have to go with what I'm given. And they were screwed on this episode,
good point.
So I stand by that being the low shots. Yeah, I made a nice retort. I'm capable.
Very valid, very valid.
Who's your low shot?
My low shot is Roderick Strong because he was bitched out twice tonight. Once when Finn treated him like the beta bitch he is and just ignored him and talked to Adam directly. And then again when he beat him in the main event.
I feel like you're destroying people, bro. Are you okay? Because, like, you're coming for everybody right now.
I feel like if I was saying these things on Twitter, you would reply with a, you good?
Yeah, I really would. I would check it and I'd be like, hey, bud, you okay?
You okay?
I gotta say, honorary high spot. Actually, no. I know who my high spot is, but I do want to give an honorary high spot to somebody. Who was I really high on tonight?
Oh man.
You know what? Honorary high spot to fucking Escobar.
Nice.
For again, I mean, I had that segment on our show. I need to change pants just very briefly.
I mean, yeah. Anytime we get a segment where you end up doing your woo thing, yeah, we know you're happy and excited.
But I gotta say, actual high spot, Johnny Gargano. Even though he did nothing but like vignettes tonight, and it wasn't like any in ring kind of stuff. From a character standpoint, from a story standpoint, he's gotten Austin Theory back on his side. So that's like a huge win for him because now he's wrested one person from Loomis's control. I think Indy Hartwell, Loomis still has some pull with her. And who knows, he may regain it with Austin. But again, focusing on this week and not predicting into the future, Johnny achieved what he set out to do. He had to bribe a therapist to do it, but that's the Gargano way.
Oh my God.
I finally was a part of it. All right, who's your high spot?
Do you remember when Dexter Lumis was Samuel Shaw in TNA and he was like paired up with Santana Garrett and her name was Brittany at the time?
Yes, briefly, yes.
Do you think that we're going to get something similar to that here between Lumis and Indy?
I think, well, that's a legitimate question. Another legitimate question is, do we even want that to happen? And I'm kind of thinking about both at once. I think we might, even if only temporarily, we might get something like that.
I don't know if it would ever lead to this, but I would absolutely love it if those two would become like a power couple and he would win the North American title and she would win the NXT Women's title.
Ooh, that would be something. I still always envisioned Indy at the end of her like tenure with the Way, so to speak, having a babyface run, and it culminates in a match with her and Candice at TakeOver, like the first of hopefully many for indie. And she like kind of says, well, I'm indie wrestling, and she kind of keeps the name anyway, and Candice is all flummoxed about it. But that could be another way to go about, indie's path to star. I was going to say stardom, but yeah, I guess I will say stardom, even though it makes me think of the promotion. So we'll see. We'll see. I think that is a legitimate point you bring up, though. I never really thought about that.
Yeah, so she is my honorary high spot, Indy Hartwell.
Nice.
Hilarity tonight. Actual high spot, Finn Balor. It's easy. He's just on top of the world. He's killing it. He's amazing. He won. He owned Roderick Strong on the mic. He wants a match to beat Adam Cole's ass, and he's getting it next week, even though he's putting his title on the line for it. So it's Balor.
I think that's appropriate given how you've been flexing for the last 5 minutes, that you would choose the Chad of NXT now that McAfee's no longer a part of it, at least for the time being.
God, I miss McAfee. I really hope he comes back within the next month or two.
Dude, how amazing would it be? I don't think McAfee could ever be a babyface, though. I was going to say, if he screwed Cole out of the NXT title, that'd be some shit. But, yeah.
What if he screws Balor out of the NXT title and invites Cole to join For the Brand?
Oh my God. I can't even process my emotions right now at that possibility, because I don't know if that's really crappy booking or 3D chess. I don't know. I'd have to really think about it.
I can just imagine the promo. I see you finally saw the light, Adam.
Damn right I did, Pat. You're still kind of small, but we'll make it work. Yeah. All right. This has been NXT. This has been yeah. I was about to do my outro, and I felt like you laughed there.
I laughed because I wasn't expecting you to go into the outro so seamfully. Oh,
well, I am that talented. But all right, take two. This has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my core and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the video as you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. When you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong, so please leave that like. Be sure to click the bell icon and subscribe so you can keep up with all things TWitWoW on YouTube and never again miss any of that goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box, most notably our Twitter handles. I'm at John_TWitWoW. He's at Ashton_TWitWoW. My pinned tweet is to collect Q&A questions. Q&A this month is going to be March 25th. Non-Patreon donors get up to 3 Q&A questions. Patreon donors can get up to 5 Q&A questions. It only costs $1 to get 2 additional Q&A questions. I would recommend donating the whole $3 so that you get the Q&A questions, but you also get access to the TWitWoW Discord. It's a great community. We're doing Among Us Mondays now. Yeah, we're hip. We have our finger on the pulse of the trends, and it's just a really fun time. So come and join us for that. Let me think about what else. Ashton, you haven't done the schedule yet for March, right? But I think you did have the beginning of March at least on the old schedule, so we'll just take a quick look at that.
All I know is that we were supposed to be doing Stardom tomorrow, but it's not even, there's nothing up, so I doubt that's going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, we have that, and don't forget, I do have my dental appointment tomorrow, so I don't even know if that 5 o'clock time, I'm hoping to stick to it, but we'll see. I'll be in dialogue.
Regardless, we've got 2 Stardom shows. We've got the 228 show and the 3-3 show now that we want to do as soon as possible, and we're going to try and get those done as soon as they're up. But them being up part is the thing preventing us from doing them right now.
So what I will say to you guys, I would expect Stardom content before then, but the thing definitively on the schedule, at least for the beginning of March, and then again we'll have to have a new schedule made up, will be a SmackDown review on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, we are expecting Stardom content hopefully before then, or maybe after then, because I'm definitely thinking the weekend on Saturday we'll probably have some Stardom content to give you guys. But definitively, again, you can expect a SmackDown review, and hopefully we'll have more to report after that. So with that said, guys, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Thanks for all the laughs and the enjoyment tonight. You're all awesome. Till next time, tune in. Peace out.